This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
We're always this stupid. It is you take lessons.
Just calm down.
Oh, fuck you!
You can't handle the truth.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
In other words, be nice, asshole.
All right, well, let's get it started because I know you got stuff to do.
I have to go to a baby shower.
All right, so welcome to another episode of Q as in Cucumber. I'm Laura Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
Okay, so for those of you who listened to our cliffhanger episode last week, Tanya, along with her son's girlfriend's mother, came into town and they learned the gender of Tanya's new grandbaby. So if you came back to find out what it is, drum roll, please. It is a
boy. Yay! It's a boy. It's a boy. I'm so excited. My son is super he's so fucking this whole time he's been saying he.
Right.
Since she got pregnant.
Right.
And then we've just been saying the baby or whatever.
Right.
But he has been he.
Yeah.
When I heard the heartbeat for the first time and I sent him the little video, because he wasn't able to get off work, he was like, that's my son. And then the first ultrasound, he was like, there's my boy.
Yep.
And they went and so we're having a boy. His name is going to be Amaru Joshua. I had to think for a minute. Amaru Joshua. Amaru was Tupac's
Shakur's
middle name. And my son absolutely, he's only 24. Tupac had already passed, right? But I listened to Tupac a lot whenever they were younger. And my son, as he's gotten older, has really all of his writings, his rap, his poetry, his books, everything. My son, anything that's about Tupac, he will be into it.
Right.
And then the middle name came from Hannah's uncle that she was really close with that passed away a few years ago.
Oh.
So his name will be Amaru, and Amaru Joshua, and we're gonna call him AJ for short. Now, my country ass father, we do the little thing. There's two different videos, right? Mm-hmm. There's the one that I posted and the one that Hannah's mom posted, and so they were like, well, should we tell everybody the name? And so they were like, they say the name of Amaru Joshua. And here's my dad, half hard hearing and country is all get out.
Oh,
Mario,
no.
did you say the baby's name is Mario? Mario? I said, no, Dad, Amaru. He was like, Mario? That's a good name. I was like, no, Dad.
Calm down.
He was like, oh. And then when I told him what it was again, he was just like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I explained to him who it was, and he was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh my God, this guy. Yeah.
You're like, okay, Dad.
So, needless to say, yesterday I went on a whole ass shopping frenzy.
So Tanya sends me this picture of what looks like she walked into a baby store and said, give me one of everything. And they did. Your whole bed was covered in so many clothes. I was like, God damn, girl. And you only spent
$22.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Love, Once Upon a Child here in the Springs.
Yeah, and I meant to go there
them.
yesterday because yesterday they were having $1 day sales.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. With what's really nice is I actually signed up for text message alerts when they're going to have sales. I think when they get older, him and TJ need to have a band. But instead of AC/DC, have it be AJTJ.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, that makes more sense. AJ, that's good. I like that. That way, because my mother and father are never going to be able to call him. They'll be calling him Moo Moo and everything else.
Yeah, of course.
I don't care what you name the baby. I'm calling him Pterodactyl. Fuck y'all. I don't care.
I'm good. All right, so we have first things first here. So we've got a new fan who was commenting on our Theranos series. So welcome, K Dawn.
Hello.
I won't say your last name, but I see you on there, and thank you so much. She put some really nice comments on our Theranos series.
Aww.
And Old G listened to our last episode.
Oh, did he? What's up, Old G?
And he said, absolutely, you're super fan. Appreciate you too. And then he said Happy 4th of July, and then he left another comment. Because at one point in the episode, you talked about Donald Trump Jr. being a mouth breather. And he was like, mouth breather. Like, I don't know if you'd ever heard that term. It was really funny.
Right?
So, welcome. So, there is a quick Elizabeth Holmes update.
Oh, this bitch again, I swear.
Just makes me laugh every time now.
When she gives birth to a fucking Nerf ball. Because that's all it is.
So, I've been following Ethan Barron. I know I've mentioned him a couple of times. I like his kind of take on it. He's been really up on the story. So this is from themercurynews.com. So if you remember, I know you do because you and I couldn't get past it, them losing a database.
Right.
Okay. Really?
You lose your keys.
Still struggle with that.
You lose your virginity. You don't lose a whole fucking database.
Exactly. Now, they've been arguing that the loss of the database, because it's not searchable. Nobody can remember the password. They can't do anything with it.
Nobody can remember did you try?
Right, I know. But
did you go to forget password?
But what's funny is that what they're saying is, oh, well, you don't have all those false test results. And there were a lot in there that were right. But we can't prove it. And it's very prejudicial for you to introduce this evidence that, blah, blah, blah. So they're still fighting about this.
Oh my God.
The article we read was basically just understanding that this was a concern.
Right.
And here's what happened. And now they're trying to deal with it. Like, how do you do this in court? So this article says, a lawyer for Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes blamed the federal government Wednesday for the loss of a database that Holmes' company dismantled 4 days after giving the government an encrypted copy, but no way to open it. Holmes' 10-member legal team. 10 lawyers.
Okay, OJ.
Yeah, thank you. Wants the judge overseeing her criminal fraud case to prevent the jury from hearing about certain customer complaints, blood test results, and government findings on the basis that the lost company database contained critical information for her team's response to that potential evidence. The data also included, quote, almost certainly millions of accurate test results. Helpful to Holmes's case, her lawyer, Amy Saharia, I think that's how you say that last name, said Wednesday during a video hearing. Federal prosecutors, however, say that the information in the database would have highlighted serious problems with the company's technology. Blah, blah, blah. There's some parts in here that are new. The federal government alleges Holmes, now pregnant and expecting a baby this month, bilked investors.
I hope they put pregnant in little quotation marks.
I know, right? She's kind of pregnant.
Yeah.
Now, this is what's interesting. From early in the hearing on Wednesday, Saharia faced skepticism from Judge Edward Davila concerning her attempts to convince him that the government, not Theranos, was responsible for the missing data.
It came from them, right?
Well, their point is that they subpoenaed this information, they got it on a flash drive, but they didn't even attempt to open it for like a year and a half. So Theranos destroyed the list system or the database, saying, well, we already made a copy and we already gave it to you, so there's no reason for us to still have this.
But I thought businesses were required to keep certain information for a certain amount of time after. I thought but apparently whenever it's this kind of shoddy, shady shit, you just, do a dump whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So Davila says, now I don't necessarily disagree that why did it take you a year and a half to open this shit that honestly was the holy grail of proving bitch was shady.
Right. But if you have information that's going to exonerate you, why would you get rid of it?
Yeah, exactly. You're full of shit. So here's what the judge said. So the government, in essence, what they were given was a non-working copy, if you will, of the database. They couldn't access it, Davila said. even if they had tried to access it in the parking lot when they received it, they still wouldn't have been able to access it. So whether they waited a year and a half or not, you still turned
wouldn't
over
have-
something that
Right.
can't be
It's like writing a
used.
bad check.
Right.
You know, like that's what that is. It's like floating checks. It's illegal.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Saharia did not dispute that Theranos had the database dismantled, but she disagreed with Davis's use of the word destroyed. That sounds so harsh. This team, man. This legal team.
Okay, disposed of. Is that work better for you?
Yeah,
Like,
fucked up.
you know,
Whatever.
I just hate how there's different rules for different people
I know.
because you know damn good and well if I tried to make up some shit like this, my ass would
yeah.
be under a prison right now.
Thank you. Like they would throw away the key.
Right.
Like-
I would be made an example of.
Exactly. It's not like someone took a hammer to the server, Saharia said, adding that the laboratory information system database was taken down when Theranos closed shop in 2018. She argued that federal investigators knew about the database long before asking for it. The government was fully aware that Theranos was closing and yet waited a year and a half until the eve of the company closing to request the database. Saharia said evidence shows people connected with Theranos might have had, in quotation marks, the software key to get into the database. Quote, if the government had promptly realized what they needed was that key. So basically they're saying, well, if you had asked us what the password was a year and a half ago, we could remember it.
But why? Okay, first off, how do you just forget a password to something that important?
And why did you, I don't know.
And why, whenever you sent the information, did you not provide the needed password?
Yeah.
So I would think that now that does fall back on the receiver because I would have asked for that. Like, okay, you gave me this. How do I open it?
Right.
But then to just be like, all right, well, we didn't give them a password. We just sent them the information. Now let's destroy it.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
shady as shit.
It
That's
is shady as shit. So, federal investigator staff had recommended contacting the FBI with its quote, most sophisticated experts in the world. But there's no evidence of any FBI contact, she said, adding that the government also made no attempt to get the database servers from which the data might have been received. Davila asked about the email, and I think this might maybe be the emails that we were talking about that Holmes wanted to get excluded between her and David Boys. I think that this might be what those emails were. Ow! That hurt. Davila asked about an email from a Theranos lawyer to someone the judge didn't name. Quote, didn't he just say, quote, we should give them the database. They won't be able to figure it out, and the people who could are in India, Davila said. The judge also suggested that Holmes, if she knew how important the data were, could have acquired a usable copy of the database herself. Your client had actual permission of the database before it was decommissioned. I guess that's the word they settled on instead of destroyed. Decommissioned.
Decommissioned.
Saharia, in response to Davila's mention of the lawyer's message, said, I don't think that email has nefarious intent. Of course you don't. But the email is saying flat out, we're going to give this over, but we know that the government won't be able to access it.
Right.
And we know the people that they would need to access it are well out of their reach.
Yeah, they can't even get to them.
So, I'm sorry, ma'am. Okay, but that sounds pretty fucking nefarious to me.
They can't, or whatever, these people that are in India.
I have no idea. I got nothing. I don't think the email had nefarious intent. Holmes, at the time the database was decommissioned, was no longer CEO, as she had already been indicted, Saharia said. Miss Holmes had no role in these events. There's a severe risk of prejudice to Miss Holmes if we have to litigate these facts about who lost the data in front of the jury. God forbid they might infer that Miss Holmes had something to do with it. The government keeps implying that.
Oh, no, not they're implying it.
God, oh my God, we're so sorry, Ms. Holmes, for trying to hold you accountable for your shitty ass behavior.
If this lady gets off, I swear to God.
You know, I read another article about that, actually. John Carreyrou, wrote the book.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that I believe if I'm reading the article right, I think he thinks she's just going to be convicted of wire fraud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I bet you $1 that it'll be within 5 years, this bitch will have her hand in something else.
Oh, yeah.
Just as shady as this.
Of course.
The whole thing baffles me.
So, prosecutor John Bostick said that while Holmes was still CEO and months before the demise of the database, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission had served a subpoena on Theranos for, quote, the entire universe of lab results from the database. Holmes was still chair of the company's board when the government was given the unusable copy of the database, he said. So this argument, she wasn't even in charge at the time. That's a provable fact, bitch.
Right.
How are you a lawyer that is allowed to speak?
So it seems like a lot of these attorneys that these people get for whenever they're just so blatantly wrong.
Right.
You take this whole legal team, the legal team for like O.J. Simpson, Rudy Giuliani. Whenever your client is so caught in the act, red-handed, guilty,
your only option is to basically be like, you didn't actually see what you saw. Ignore what you saw. It's not what you think.
Right.
Ignore your own eyes and common sense.
And I know that's their job. I fucking get it.
Course.
I so fucking get it, right? That's their job. The same way, like it's their defense attorneys. But where do you draw the line?
Right.
Like, I don't think I could sleep at night or live with myself or look my family in the eye knowing that I was doing something so fucking just out of
that causes tangible harm
to others,
to people who didn't do anything, like except want to try this new blood testing procedure. Like things that either went undiagnosed or things were diagnosed incorrectly, and you scared the shit out of people.
Right.
Like this is not an abstract idea of the harm that could have been caused.
Right.
This harm was caused.
You know what I always think of whenever I think of her too? Have you seen that commercial for that Cologuard thing where you I don't know how you do it. I mean, if you...
you poop in a box?
And you send it off or whatever. I'm just skeptical about that as well because that's, it's kind of along the same lines to me. I just, first off, who the fuck thought about sending your shit
through the mail?
Through the mail. I mean, if I sent somebody some shit, I'd get in trouble.
More than likely.
So, right. If I'm just sending, Ziploc bags full of dookie to my ex-husband, that shit would be hysterical.
Oh, my God. That would be amazing.
But I don't know. It just seems, I don't feel like it's accurate. I feel like it's along these same lines.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sending somebody I don't know my test results or my any bodily fluids or excretions or anything. I mean, it's just, I just don't feel comfortable with that.
Right.
And this is probably a big reason why, because of this whole Theranos thing, because I think it just soured me on the whole thing. Yeah. I'll just go see a doctor. Yeah. A real doctor, an MD.
Real doctor.
Somebody who's in an office and wears a white coat. Fuck off. Yeah,
that actually has diplomas on the wall.
Right, I'm not trusting your magic capsule that, or whatever you're fucking using.
That you're sitting here saying, but my grandfather was a doctor. Great, that's nice. Fuck off.
Right.
So, basically, the judge hasn't ruled yet.
Right.
On whether or not it's going to be excluded. But they're fucking trying, man. They're trying. Yeah. It's, once again, if it were you or me, we would already be in prison.
I would be under the fucking prison.
Thank you. So, once again, we'll keep up on our Theranos updates. But we've got a couple of listener emails.
Oh.
This is from Jemima from the U.S.
Jemima?
Jemima.
Okay.
That's her name. Right. Don't know if it's a nickname or if it's your real name, but I'm here for it. I like it. I crochet, and I always have my crochet bag with me. I'm waiting at the hospital with my husband, working on a wedding veil, and a woman stops when passing me. And the woman says, could I have that wedding veil? And I say, well, I charge. And the woman interrupts and says, no, for free.
Oh.
You just walk up to a stranger and demand
Free stuff.
for free. It's rude, but okay. And I say, why would you expect it for free? And the woman's, this is like, this sentence just went on to the point where her husband finally stepped in and was like, fuck off. So here's what she said. I shouldn't have to pay for it because you don't have any employees that you need to pay. Besides, all my friends will see it and I can give them your info. Of course, you know what? For that, I should get a finder's fee every time you sell one.
This lady had a whole business plan within 2 seconds.
Thank you.
Which leads me to believe that she does it all the time.
And it's to steal my shit.
Right.
Like, and you're just asking this.
And I don't have any employees. What the fuck am I?
So finally she says, my husband growling says, get lost, lady. That was all it took to make her walk away. The nerve of some people. You know what? I gotta say, we had a coworker that I don't know how to describe her. But she wanted me, she was very into her church. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But one year for Christmas, she was taking up like donations to do like food boxes for families in need. And she had asked us all to donate. And I did. I gave her some money.
Yeah.
I think I gave her like $100. And she was
I
like,
think I said I am a family in need and brushed her off.
yeah. But I was like, I think I gave her like $100. And she was like, you can't do better than that? I was like, excuse me? She was like, well, you don't have any children. What could you spend your money on? I was like, not that that's any of your fucking business. Okay. I don't believe in your sky god, quite frankly, but I do believe that people need to be fed. So I was willing to donate money that I didn't have to give you. And now you're insulting me because I didn't give enough according to you. And I should give up all my money to your church.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I don't believe in organized religion.
Yeah.
That's why I just don't do it.
No, she used to do that all the time to the point where you were just like, bitch.
She also, every
I want
time
you
one
to
of us
walk
got
away.
married, she would go give us the talk.
Oh,
too.
God, yes. The talk where she sits down and explains to you. After I got married, she sat me down and she was like, okay, so I have to tell you, once I got married, I was still trying to be, she was like, because in her country, she was an immigrant. And in her country, she was a lawyer. And she was like, you know, when I got married, I didn't realize that I was going to have to give up so much of what makes me me. And I was still trying to cling on to that old life.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that you live for your husband now. And you don't have your own goals. And you live for your husband. So I need you to understand that. I was like, bitch, can we stop this conversation? Because, no. Yeah. Not feeling it. Like, when she did it with me, she did it with Carly. Like, she did it with all of us.
Oh, you're married now, huh? So.
Yeah, she did it with Jess. I remember Jess was like, bitch, I will cut you.
Yeah.
Fucking leave me alone.
You know what? Please leave me alone.
Yeah, she was just one of those people.
I don't need any of your marital advice.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So this is actually an email from Thailand.
Oh.
And it's kind of along the same lines as the last one where I'm just like, people, what are you... So this is from Rudy. From
Rudy.
Thailand.
Rudy. Every time I hear that name, that's all I can think of is that
I know,
movie.
Right? And Rudy says, my company delivers food for local restaurants. We're a small company and we pay good salaries, social insurance, etc. Our most popular place are pizza joints. But today, this absolute gem of a human ordered from an Indian restaurant.
A gem.
A gem. I like that, Rudy. A gem of a human. There you go. This gem of a human ordered from an Indian restaurant. He demanded free, I hope I'm saying this word right, but he demanded free samosas.
Mm-hmm.
SAMOSAS.
Yeah, samosa.
And threatened to cancel his order if he didn't get them. Naturally, the Indian place said no. You don't get to just walk in and be like, you're going to give me one of those for free.
Right.
Kind of not how the world works. Again, just like the last email, the nerve of some fucking people. Like,
I mean, so, I used to do hair for 1,000,000 years.
Right.
And I had people to this day that would still hit me up for a haircut. and they would and not want to pay me a damn thing.
No.
And they just, I mean, yeah, there's no real overhead on a haircut, right?
I let you cut my hair and I paid you.
But I mean, it's different whenever it's people, you know, it doesn't really bug me, but there are some people that you come across that just expect it for free, you know? Family and friends, I'm cool with, you know, whatever. That's why I very rarely tell people when I meet them, you know, that I, you know, do hair or whatever.
Right.
Because it always ends up with, so do you think you can cut my hair? And they don't want to pay, you know? And you're just like, you know what? You couldn't go to the Aveda salon and be like, so I heard you guys do haircuts. and just be like, okay, bye now after you get your hair cut. That's not how it fucking works.
No. So
I have to pay to get my hair cut.
Like, hello.
Well, not anymore because Soap's cutting it now.
Well, that's different. She's your daughter.
Yeah.
So, blah, 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 blah. He demanded free samosas and threatened to cancel his order if he didn't get them. Naturally, the Indian place said no. He bombed me with so many emails, calling me a whore, saying that Indians are useless, calling the restaurant staff racial slurs, on and on and on. If somebody just walked into your house and was like, give me your couch for free.
Right.
That's what you're doing. Why would they say yes?
I need a new stove, Laura. I'll be back in an hour with my truck.
Right.
You know?
What do these people owe you? Nothing.
That's a lot of these fucking people. And you know who it is most of the time? Old people.
Oh, yeah.
Old people, they think just because they've lived for so long that they can do and say and act the way that they want.
Yeah.
And they do. And, okay, yeah, I give it to you. You know, yeah, you've seen a lot of shit, blah, 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 you know, and whatever. But that doesn't give you the right to disrespect or treat other people like shit.
No, of course not. And I got in a bit of a back and forth with my grandfather about this at one point. Because I was like, look, I'm real sick of this, okay? We were helping out a lot at my grandparents' house when we were living out there when my dad was in Korea. And I finally called him on it. I was like, look, you are the first person when something comes up to be like, well, let me give you some advice. Because when you've lived as long as I have...
Yeah.
Right? And that's your card that you slap down on the table. But the second that you get screwed, your response is, but I'm old.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you want this respect for having lived your life and, you know, having all these experiences. But the second that you get screwed and those experiences didn't teach you jack shit.
Right.
But I'm old and you took advantage of me.
Right, exactly.
That's obnoxious.
Exactly.
Old people need to stop that.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways here.
No.
Okay?
No.
Just stop it.
And some people are just dicks, though.
Yeah. So after I told him that they said no the first time, he ordered again an hour later with a note. And the following exchange of emails ensues. The customer says, "Hi, I need free samosas or please cancel. Thanks." I respond, "You're still not getting free samosas, and I've declined your order as requested." Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah. What do you want me to do here?
Like, this is what's happening. And the customer responds, "Tell those rude, ignorant little fuckers that they don't get many customers these days, so they should be fucking grateful." Once again, grateful that you want to steal. You want me to give you permission to steal from me.
What is he? Why is he so hell bent on getting these free samosas?
I don't know. They should be fucking grateful. If not, I won't order again. He uses a racial slur, follows it up by calling them scum, and please deliver my message exactly like that to the restaurant.
Sir, I'm not typing that.
Right.
And I'm not telling anybody that because I'm offended.
Thank you. So Rudy responds, I absolutely will not be relaying your racist message to them. In fact, I have sent out my whole flock of messenger pigeons to gather my army of Indian and Pakistani warriors, and tonight we shall feast on samosas in your honor. Have a great evening, sir.
Shut
I
up.
deleted his account and told him not to contact us again. He was the first customer I've ever banned. Also, we're in Thailand, so the owner of the restaurant is Thai, and all of the staff are either Thai or Burmese. Now I'm just hoping that he posts a review somewhere so I can screenshot his racist bullshit.
I mean, and samosas are good. I mean, anything fried
What
is
is it?
fucking good. Hold on, I'll show you.
And what was so goddamn special, like so important that you couldn't pay for them?
There are these little like fried bits, and sometimes there's like,
I know. Okay.
there's like
they're super like flaky. Kinda.
yeah, and it's kind of like there's like meat or potatoes or something in there, and they're really good. They're really good, yeah.
So they're kind of like pierogies. Just a different kind of texture, I think.
They're more like a wonton, like these ones right here are the Punjabi samosas.
So this one's called Instant Karma.
I love instant karma. So Sophia, her and her fucking mouth. So a couple years ago, Avery was being really mean to her. Like, he was just being a total dick. You know, more than normal big brother stuff. And she was like, yeah, well, and he was getting ready to go hunting. She was like, I hope you fall in a hole. And Avery fell in a hole and sprained his ankle so bad he couldn't work for like 3 days. Yeah.
Oh my God, Sophia's got magic.
Yeah, she
used it for evil. Tell her to use her powers for good.
Right.
Damn it.
So now whenever he starts mouthing off to her, she was like,
you want to end up in another ditch?
I'll make sure you fall in another hole, you bitch. And he was just like, oh my God.
Okay, so this one says, many, many years ago, I worked in a small coffee shop on a university campus. Work was great, and we had fun and loved the owners. Unfortunately, after I worked there for 2 years, those owners retired. The new owner came in and put up multiple cameras, like 8 in a 3-meter by 10-meter coffee shop. With all the cameras trained on the counter and staff areas. He started to proposition the girls. We were all university students, so 17 to 21 years old. And he promised that they would get extra shifts if they went home with him. If you argued back, then you got your work hours cut down to the bare minimum. Our uniform was just a loose black polo shirt with the cafe logo, black pants, and closed shoes. Standard coffee shop staff attire. A couple months in, the new owner decided that the uniform would be changed, but only for the girls. Oh, fucking perv. Now, the girls would be required to wear a mid-drift top with the cafe logo and low-rise pants. The boys still got to wear the old uniform.
Okay, weirdo.
So we argued that it was unsafe. Hot coffee and plates of food next to bare skin...
Right.
Might not be the best idea.
I'll tell you what, you wear it.
And I basically got told, too bad, so sad. We as the staff got together and hatched a plan.
Oh, they came up with a caper.
There we go. They totally did. And I love it. On the first day of the new uniform policy, the girls showed up in the old uniform. The boys all showed up in the midriff tops and low-rise pants.
Oh, Lord.
The new policy lasted approximately an hour. The boss was not impressed. Not one lost their job because our coffee shop was right next to the law faculty. One of the students had already had a conversation with her lecturer about what was going on. I'm pretty sure that if we had been fired for non-compliance with the uniform, that the boss would have found himself in far more trouble.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he let it go. What kind of fucking perv owns a business and is using it as like your own personal like window shopping? Like you can stare at these half-naked girls now? Come on.
Yuck.
What kind of perv?
Yeah, because Sophia at her job, at her the coffee shop, it's any kind of tennis shoes or any kind of shoes that you want to wear, but black pants and the black shirt with the Scooters logo on it, and the red apron that says Scooters on it. Okay. I mean, they have to though, because they're over there at that cappuccino machine, and she said that thing gets really hot.
Oh, I'm sure.
When they're like steaming milk and making espresso and stuff like that. She said it gets really hot.
I'm sure.
That machine does. And I was like, oh, okay. She was
it's
like,
gonna melt you.
Yeah, you know. So I can only imagine like
being in a midriff
in a fucking midriff with some low-rise jeans on, and I have, skim milk that's been splattered all over my belly because
I got hot coffee dripping down my ass crack.
Because my fucking boss is a pervert.
Like, ew.
No.
Gross. So sorry you had to deal with that.
That's
really
awful.
Sucks.
That's really awful.
But I'm glad you got together, and I gotta say kudos to the dudes.
Yeah.
That were willing to do that for the girls. Like,
because
I would say that's a sign of some really good coworkers.
Yeah.
Keep relationships with those people. This is from Singapore.
Oh.
Actually. And this person says, I'm the hiring manager for a new role in my company. As part of the hiring process, I give promising applicants a call to get more information. Basically like a screening.
Yeah.
Right? I reach out to a young, fresh graduate by email and manage to set up a time for a call. At the agreed time, I call her up. And I say, hi, I'm calling from blah, blah, blah company. And the applicant says, oh, hi? Like as a question. I notice the confusion and say, we did agree on this time to discuss the role you applied for. And the applicant says, oh, sorry, I can't speak right now. I'm going to take a shower. Can you call back in a half hour? I'm not offering you customer service.
Yeah, you either want this job.
Not making a real great impression. And at this point, I get annoyed. I'm afraid I can't. I'm sorry, but we did agree on this time, right? I got your confirmation by email. And the applicant says, I'm sorry, who is this again? Okay, you clearly do not want a job, number one. And you as the job really doesn't want this piece of shit.
Right.
Hello? Who am I? The person who's trying to give you a job?
Right. Like, so, and you know, so we have a process. We have an HR and recruiting department. They pre-screen people for us. And then the supervisors do the interviews. And they're on Teams or video interviews. Mm-hmm. So the supervisors, the day before the interview, you call the person just to, like, a reminder. I don't know how many times I've called people and they're just like, who? Well, you spoke to this person the other day and you received an email. And I'm just calling to remind you of your interview tomorrow morning at this time. Mm-hmm. What? Yeah, sure. And then the next day they never show up.
Of course not.
You know, and you're just like,
what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
So the applicant says, I'm sorry, who is this again? Now I'm even more annoyed. I give him my name and the company name and reminded him of the marketing role he applied for. And the applicant says, oh, right. Hi. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm going to take a shower, so I can't speak right now. Can you call back tomorrow? Trying not to lose my patience, I just say, I'm afraid I can't. And the applicant says, oh, but I've already taken off all my clothes. Needless to say, they're not getting the job. For real.
Oh, you wouldn't believe.
You're a fucking grown-up.
I had this girl, so I was doing an interview. Like I said, they're Teams interviews and they're video interviews. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, I'm like, this is weird looking, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. Mm-hmm. So about halfway through the interview, she sits up because the bitch is laying in her bed, got her computer cocked to the side, and she's laying in her bed all covered up and everything. Sits up, hair just sticking up all over the place. She's in pajamas. All right, well, thanks so much for your time. You have a great day.
Yeah, no.
I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. This one lady, the whole time I was interviewing her, she was at a computer, at a desk, and the whole time I was interviewing her, her dog kept coming in there and chewing on her table, trying to, like, jump up on her. I was like,
get your shit together.
If you can't be focused for the 30 minutes it takes me to interview you, then you don't need a fucking job that's gonna distract you from whatever bullshit you got going on in your life.
No.
So yeah, you wouldn't. So what I usually do is I talk to them and everything, and then I'll say, okay, so what do you know about the company? And they'll be like, well, I really don't know anything. Okay.
Terrible answer in a job interview.
Right.
Job interview 101.
Right. So then I tell them, okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about us. And I go into my little spiel about what we do, blah, 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 blah. And does that sound okay? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I said, okay. And then
I guess.
And then I ask him, okay, so it says here your availability is this and this. Now I just want to let you know that weekends are required. And they're like, well, I can't work any weekends.
Well, then have a nice day.
Thank you. Okay, well, unfortunately, until you can update your availability, I can't move forward with the interview. Please, I'm going to go ahead and decline you. And once you are available for weekends and evenings, please let me know. Yeah. You can reapply at that time in you have to wait 6 months.
Right.
And then give us a try again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, and they were doing this thing where they were scheduling interviews for us. And if they didn't show up within 5 minutes, we had to call them. And I made a point in a meeting and I was like, I'm not chasing someone down
No.
for a job. That's just not how it works.
Because then I will be chasing him down to do the job.
The way we used to do it is we would send them a message. We would send them an email. And in the email it would say, call for your interview between these times on these days.
Right.
And then they had supervisors sitting on that line waiting for these calls. Okay. So we weren't calling them. They were calling us.
All right.
Okay, so I answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. My name is Tanya. How can I help you? Yeah, I got an email. Okay. Great.
Thanks for calling to let me know.
All right, awesome sauce. I get some too, you know. I don't know what you want me to fucking say. Well, what did the email say?
What, do you want a cookie?
Right. What did the email say? Well, that I had to call you guys. And it was in reference to... I don't know. I have to look at it again.
Oh, my God.
So that's the kind of, okay, well, bye now. Then I had one where the bitch was eating like a whole ass like burger.
Oh, come on.
And I said, oh, I'm sorry. This is an interview. And she was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, okay, well, did you want to finish your lunch and give us a call back? She was like, no, it's okay. Actually, it's not.
It's not okay.
It's not. Don't eat. I don't care what you know.
No.
So I just got off the phone with her and declined her.
Fuck.
And then, so the thing is whenever we declined them, they get that email right away.
Yeah.
So I was still on the interview line. Waiting for another call. Bam, she calls right back. Yeah, I just had an interview. I think it went pretty well. But whoever did it declined me. Can you tell me why? I said, oh, actually, your interview was with me. And the way we have to do this is it is a professional interview.
Yeah.
This is a real job, and you were eating throughout the entire interview, which is not professional. I don't know of any interview for any industry that would not
be acceptable.
Yeah, that would be okay with. So that for that reason you were declined because you were not professional, and that's what we're looking for is professional. She was like, well, I only have a little bit of time to eat. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have fucking called us. You know, I mean, it just
hurts the brain.
Right.
Like, just how painful.
Well, can I talk to somebody above you, ma'am? There's nobody above me but Jesus.
And the second I put you, if I do give you to somebody else, I'm going to explain to them what you did, and they're going to say, yeah, fuck off. No, I guarantee you they're going to say, fuck off.
I have to tell people in the interview all the time. I start off by telling them whenever they don't know or when I'm explaining what we do. So first and foremost, I do want to let you know that this is a real job.
Yeah.
You may be working from home. It may be, it may be on the phones. You may be taking, doing what we do here, blah, blah, blah. But we have a schedule that comes out once every 2 weeks. We have a schedule that you guys have to adhere to every day. We expect you to come to work and stay at work and follow the guidelines for these calls.
Right.
This is a real job.
Yeah.
I have to tell them that. Yeah.
What adults.
I swear to God, they think it's fucking day labor or something.
No. This is a job.
It's a job.
I remember doing an interview once at a company I worked for, and it was kind of towards the beginning of where like interviewers started to do the whole tell me about a time, right? To understand your thought process. So he was coming into the field, but he had worked in a different industry, right? He had been a mechanic for years and was changing it up. So I'd asked him a question about like, tell me about a time when, and he started telling this story basically that you didn't need to be a genius to follow the story. Okay. Basically the story was, I got this car. This was the issue. We couldn't identify it. We took out the carburetor, dismantled it, figured out what was wrong, and then put it back together and put it back in the car. That's the story, right? And he did not use any like specific jargon or anything from being that a layperson wouldn't be able to understand, right? And then at the end of the story, he's like, I'm so sorry. I know that was probably really technical for you, and it probably went over your head. And I was like...
Well, first off, I'm not completely stupid.
I don't understand removing a part from a car, taking it apart, putting it back together, and putting it back in the car. I'm pretty sure my 7-year-old could understand that.
The other day
Not complicated.
The other day I had this.
It's not a good idea to insult your interviewer by saying, I know I just told you a super complicated story that there's no way you could have followed.
Right, because you're kind of stupid.
Yeah.
You know? The other day I had an interview, and one of the questions, because everything we do is on the computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The training, the calls, the orders, everything is on the computer.
Right.
So I tell them, I go through my little, this is a lot of technical stuff, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you rate your ability to use and navigate through technology? Would you say that you're basic, intermediate, or advanced, and why? So every computer genius in the free world applies for a job with this. They're all fucking computer geniuses, but none of them know how to make a fucking email. Yep. Because I have one person on my team that still responds from an email back in April to tell me anything. And you can see, because she doesn't know how to send
compose
an
a brand new email.
Right.
All she knows how to do is hit reply.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
So I asked this guy the question, and he was like, "Oh, I'm excellent. I took a computer class in school, and da 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 da." Right. So I was like, "Okay, so if I said I need you to clear your cookies and your cache and restart your computer, how would you go about doing that?"
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I wouldn't even give you no lip. I would just do it." But what are the steps you would take?
I didn't ask you if you were going to argue with me. I asked you how you would actually complete the task.
Right. So then I threw another one out there. I said, so if I say I need you to make Google Chrome your default browser, how would you go about it? Because those are common things you have to do.
Yeah.
He was like, well, on the computer, it already has that. I said, okay, great, thank you. And then I said, okay, so we're really big on attendance. Attendance, you guys are the backbone. We need to make sure that you guys are always at work. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, yeah, ma'am. I said, okay, so what do you think your previous employer would say about your attendance? He was like, oh, they would say I was spot on. And I was like, okay, so for example, in the last 6 months you've worked there, how many times would you say that you were late, called in, or left unexpectedly? Mm-hmm. Oh, not many times. I mean, it was a few times I had emergencies. So like in 6 months, I would say like 6 or 7 times. Absolutely not.
What the fuck?
Do you know how many times I've missed in the last 6 years?
Maybe 5 days.
Not even.
Good Lord.
Not even when I was sick.
Yeah.
I still went to work until they told me I couldn't work anymore. He said 6 or I just was like, okay, great. Do you have any other questions for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, moving along.
When I worked at the semiconductor plant, we were doing interviews for shift leaders, and I was part of the interview panel. And there were 3 of us, and we were questioning this candidate who'd gotten pretty far in the interview process. But this was a leadership role. Mm-hmm. So one of the other people on the panel conducting the interview with me said, "How would you describe your leadership style?" And I shit you not, he says, "Oh, I lead through fear and intimidation."
Ah, my God.
And we all everybody just kind of stopped, and I had been taking notes, and I kind of just was like, do. I looked up. I'm still got my pen on the paper. Like, did that just happen? And for a second, I thought, oh, he's gonna say he was joking, right? Like he just made a poorly timed joke,
right?
Like, and a poorly delivered joke during an interview. Okay, stupid, but whatever.
Right.
But he was staring at all of us like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Good plan, right? Aren't you happy? I will take the job now. Like, where do I sign? Like, what the? Like, he really expected us to just be like, oh, hired.
See, and
because that's what we're missing around here is fear and intimidation.
Right. So when we send the email inviting them to do the team's interview, we tell them this is a team's interview. It's a video interview.
Right.
We do expect you to conduct yourself as you would as an in-person interview. You dress professionally, blah blah blah. I mean, we've had to even write them, make sure your hair is combed.
Right.
You have on a decent outfit. Blah blah. We got to tell these fucking people that. And at least once or twice a week, we got somebody who Kiki sent us a screenshot the other day. The bitch was like, I think she was in the shower or something. So I don't know. Like, I don't understand. understand it. Do you
Yeah.
think that I can't see you? You can see me, so what makes you think that I can't see you?
Like they're like cats. You know how they say that like when cats stick their head under something, they don't understand that just their head is hidden.
Right.
Like not their whole body.
Right.
Like that's what these people are.
Yeah.
Just a group of feral cats. That you're just like,
Feral monkeys. Like
I
these
can't
people.
corral you here, people. Come on.
Untrained circus monkeys throwing their shit at everyone. That's all it is every fucking day.
It is exhausting.
It is. It really, really is. And I always think, like, they're like, damn, Tanya, you don't ever hire nobody. And I always think,
I don't want to hire my next problem.
right, this person could come to my team. And I definitely can't deal with that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I don't put up with it anyways. I have whittled my team down from like 27 to 11.
Wow. You're like,
And attrition is part of my bonus. I don't even give a shit.
You're
I
like,
told my
nope.
boss, I was like, I don't even count on making that.
no.
I don't even factor that in
I'm
every
never
month.
going to hit that number.
I'm never going to hit that number because I'm never going to keep these people because they keep putting these people on my team, and I get them I leave them. I get them gone as fast as I get them.
Just call me Last Stop Tanya.
Yeah, because it's not going to happen. Yeah, and she knows in there. Everybody always laughs. She's like, Tanya just cannot hit that attrition bonus. Tanya's never going to hit that attrition bonus.
No, because Tanya doesn't play.
Yeah.
I'm not putting up with this bullshit.
I don't have time for the shenanigans. Keep it moving.
No.
And they always just laugh. They're like, damn, Tanya hits everything but the attrition bonus because she just can't keep nobody. I said,
Yeah.
it's not that I can't keep nobody. I won't keep people who aren't going to work.
Right.
Because I'm not going to beg you to come do a job that you don't fucking want.
Exactly. Like,
Not going to happen. Well, Tanya's mean to me. No, Tanya's not mean to you. How is Tanya mean to you when you're never fucking here?
yeah.
That's what I told Linda. She was like, yeah, she said you were mean to her. I said, how was I mean to her? She's never here. How?
Yeah. Good Lord.
Linda was like, yeah, I kind of see your
Yeah.
point. I was like, yeah, how am I supposed to be?
When would I do that?
When?
All right. So keep those emails coming to cucumbers@yahoo.com. We're still following the Elizabeth Holmes train. Waiting for this trial to happen.
Yeah,
I've
waiting
been
for
on
her to-
baby watch.
Yeah.
We're on baby. It's July. She's doing July. We are on baby watch.
I would much rather watch a hippo give birth than worry about this whore giving birth to her fake
Her
ass.
Nerf ball.
To a fucking pogo stick or whatever she's carrying around in there. That dumb bitch.
All right. So until next time, I'm Laura Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
Like what you hear? Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. And follow us on our Facebook page by searching Q as in Cucumber. And we want to hear from you. Share your stories by emailing us at qasincucumber@yahoo.com, and you might just hear your stories on a future episode. Love your faces.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.